Welcome. In this video, chapters 2 and 3 of Azur Lane will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Azur Lane. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. Chapter 2 is based off of a real-world World War II naval battle, the Battle of the Coral Sea, and is very short with only 16 lines of dialogue. It's not mentioned directly in the cutscenes, but during the battle, the USS Lexington is critically damaged and later scuttled. The IJN Shoho is sunk, and IJN Shokaku and USS Yorktown are damaged heavily in the battle. Chapter 2 starts off with Lexington and Yorktown in the midst of a battle, with Lexington commanding the others to hold their positions and don't fire unless fired upon, but if they mean to have a war, let it begin. The chapter continues on with a recreation of the Doolittle raid on Tokyo. USS Enterprise radios into Hornet after lifting radio silence protocols, telling her that the two have been found out, asking if they should continue their mission. Hornet replies saying they're just a bit off in their coordinates, but they should be fine. Enterprise commands the others, saying that all convoys continue to protect Hornet. Hornet launches her B-25 bombers while shouting, quote, "Fight. Fight for our fallen sisters. Fight for the land and sea burned by the war. This attack is filled with anguish and with fury. Now is when we make our stand. For the Eagles, for freedom. B-25 Doolittle Squadron, attack." Chapter 3 is based on the Battle of Midway. Those of you who are familiar with this naval battle will know what's coming next. Chapter 3 begins with Enterprise receiving a decrypted telegram reading, quote, "AF is short on water. Should the attack plan consider this?" Along with mentioning that something big just took their bait. Yorktown suggests that they move immediately. Enterprise is concerned about Yorktown because of her injuries from the Coral Sea. Yorktown responds that maintenance crews were working around the clock for 3 days to bring her back into shape, and rallies the two other ships of the Yorktown class, Enterprise and Hornet, into sortieing. The task force encounters Akagi, Kaga, and Hiryu. Akagi taunts the equal Union carriers, saying that their planes are no match for their Zeros, and that they're capable of nothing more than scrambling desperately at their fleet, then readies to launch another wave of attacks on the island. Kaga suggests to Akagi that they should still keep track of the movement of the Eagle Union aircraft and should leave fighters in reserve. Akagi pays no mind and cockily believes that Tonei's recon planes haven't found any Eagle Union carriers, thinking that they ran after looking at their fleet, and states that they are behind them. Hiryu warns Akagi of an incoming counterattack. Akagi orders Kaga, Hiryu, and Soryu to load their planes with torpedoes and prepare for anti-ship combat. Kaga yells at Akagi, saying that she can't do that, as there's a possibility that the enemy will attack when they're unprepared. Akagi tells Kaga to do it regardless, as they need to be ready. Suddenly, Soryu spots multiple Eagle Union aircraft approaching them. Akagi is surprised from this surprise rear attack, with Kaga calling back the fighters for anti-air support. Enterprise says it's too late, and orders the McCluskey squadron to attack. Kaga is critically hit because she lets her guard down, with Akagi grieving the loss of her sister. A narrator begins speaking, saying, quote, "Some things in the world can only be described as divine providence. What seemed to be a haphazard throwaway attack would forever split open the annals of history. Nobody could have known that this moment was the single crux upon which the world would shift. This moment, when strength, luck, and even the whimsical hand of fate all seemed to blur together and coalesce, would become known as the 5 minutes of fate." Akagi gets stricken soon after and begins monologuing while admitting defeat, in awe of being outwitted by a ragtag, antiquated bunch, but expected as much from the commander she chose. She regrets swearing fealty to them, otherwise she would have enjoyed bullying the commander a bit, hoping to one day escape her fate. Soryu meets her fate, leaving only Hiryu against the 3 Eagle Union carriers. She doesn't want it to end this way and launches a final counterattack against the carriers. The counterattack is successful in critically hitting Yorktown, leaving Hiryu to die without any regrets and salvaging the situation for their sake. Yorktown tries to cheer Enterprise and Hornet up. saying that they just won a decisive battle, and that they'll soon become legendary warships with people singing their praise for generations to come. The war will end as well, allowing them to reclaim the seas together, making a fitting end for Yorktown. Enterprise refuses to accept her death, but Yorktown continues on, saying that watching Enterprise and Hornet grown have been her pride and joy, handing over her eagle, Grim, to Enterprise, and trusting her dear friend as they will spread the spirit of freedom throughout the world. Hideyu comments on the passing of Yorktown, the dazzling brilliance, and how this form of evolution is both beautiful and sad, but it's time for their plan to move forward as well. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other Azur Lane and Arknight videos as well.